Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Over the course of the last 7 weeks, we have seen several instances of innovations that have emerged from biomimicry. It's very clear that biomimicry can lead to sustainable innovations. Biomimicry offers a way to solve human challenges using the lessons learned from nature. We can design new products and processes and services using biomimicry, or we can redesign what is already there using biomimicry as well. However, and in as part of this course, we have encouraged you to start pick up a problem statement and use the biomimicry spiral to start solving a problem. However, it's not enough to just solve a problem on paper. It's not enough to just have a small test or a prototype of a solution and say that's all we are doing with it. Sometimes, depending on the depending on the problem that you're solving, it's important to think about how you can scale it up, how you can take it to the market. And in this section, we are going to talk about how can you take your ideas to market. And for that purpose, we are going to introduce a tool to you, a very well known tool, which is called the business model canvas. Uh, so let's look at how that can help you look at your idea and find out how you can convert it to a business. Remember that I'm only introducing the tool to you in this module. It's not This is not a business course, so I can't cover all the details. But we encourage you to learn about the tool more in case you're interested in going to market with your idea and find out how it can help you to do that. Now, if you look at any idea, an idea cannot just be a business. An idea is a very small part of the business. And if you look at any business, there are other things that come into play when you're looking at a business solving a problem or providing a solution to a customer. What are those things? Those could be customer segments. So, what are the customers that the business is serving? Who are these customers? What are the value propositions that are being delivered to those customers by the business? The value proposition is another word for the benefits that are being delivered. What are the channels through which the value proposition is delivered to these customers? What are the relationships that are maintained by this business with its customers, and how does the business make money? Also, what are the key resources and the key activities that this business has to perform in order to succeed and excel? And since a business cannot do all the activities and have everything on their own, they need to partner with others, maybe suppliers, maybe other types of parties. And who are these key partners going to be for this business? And what will be the overall cost structure for the business? That is, in order to do all of this, what are the costs that the business is incurring? So these are the 9 blocks that can be used to describe a business. Now, instead of just listing it down like this, what we do in the business model canvas is map it out in the form of a diagram, or we map it out on a canvas, on a single page. And the way we do this is say, okay, we have customer segments, we have the value propositions, the channels, the customer relationships, the revenue streams, the key resources and key activities, along with the key partners and the cost structure. So we have this very structured way of mapping out what a business looks like and what are the activities it does. Of course, we have to mention which business it is for and what the purpose of this business is. So this is how you start thinking about what does the business entail. And as I mentioned earlier, your idea is a very small part of the entire business. Of course, it is the basis. Yes, you created a solution out of it, but that's not enough. You can't think that that is enough to start a business. You have to think about all these aspects as well if you are looking to take your idea to market. So you start filling this out and as the business model canvas for what you are trying to do. And each of these, you take this blank sheet of paper, and under each of these building blocks, you start putting down what you know about your business, what you think your business has to do under that building block. So what you start off with is write down the name of your business, what the purpose of your business is, and then start filling up each of these blocks. So here you have the customer segments. Who are your customers? Who are the people that you are going to provide a solution to? What are the solutions you're going to provide which need to create value for those customers, which means that there has to be a tangible benefit or an advantage for the customer. It has to be something that, are you going to increase performance or reduce cost or give them a better design? What is it that you're going to give by way of a tangible value? And remember, even customers cannot just be a huge block of people saying, these are my customers. You need to be very specific in saying, what are the categories of people that you're going to serve? Are they going to be researchers at universities? Are they going to be students? Are they going to be teachers? Are they going to be uh, senior VPs at a company? Are they going to be the procurement officers at a company, at a manufacturing company? So this is the whole world cannot be your customer. You need to be very specific about which are the categories of customers you have, and what is the specific tangible benefit that you are going to give them by way of your product or service. It's not just enough that I'm going to give this product, that's great. How is it going to help that specific customer segment? Then you think about channels. How are you going to deliver this value to your customer, which is the channel? And this is starting right from making your customer aware of your product or service, right up to delivering that to them, and also doing the post sales service for them. So this is channels for you. Then you think about what is the relationship you need to have with your customers. There are some businesses that have extremely personalized relationships with customers, right? They know each customer, they build a relationship. The smaller companies tend to do that. Larger companies tend to have very automated ways of keeping in touch with their customers. So that's something that each business needs to decide. What are the types of relationships you will have with your customers? And of course, very importantly, how will you make money? What is it that your customer is going to pay you for what product or service they're going to pay, and how much are they going to pay? So the right side of the canvas here, you see, is focused on what you're going to do outside the company with your customers. The customer segments, what your value you're giving, how you're going to reach them, the relationships you have with them, and how you're going to make money from them. The left side of the canvas is more internal focused to your business. So you start off with the key resources and the key activities that you need to do as a business. Now remember, key resources and key activities are the crucial assets and crucial activities. See, every business will have resources like buildings or machinery, depending on what you're doing. So every business will have several assets. Doesn't mean each of these is crucial. So you need to think about what are the physical assets that are very important for you to deliver this benefit to your customer. So it could be physical assets that you have, maybe your manufacturing plant. It could be intellectual assets like your IP that you have, or you have a set of customers that are very crucial. Or it could be human resources. You have trained designers or trained engineers who are crucial to you delivering this value to your customer. Or you could have financial resources. So these are the critical resources you need in order to deliver value to your customer. Similarly, critical activities. So these are the actual activities that are critical for performing your business. So every business needs to do certain things like, pay the bills and things like that. But those are not critical activities. Critical activities are things that you need to do in order to succeed as a business. So it could be things like either production manufacturing that you need to do, or if you are a tech company, it could be some platform development that you need to do, or if you're a consulting company, it could be problem solving that you do. So these are activities that are underpinning what the how you will make money, and this are therefore very important. Of course, as a business, you cannot do all the activities and have all the resources inside your company. Therefore, you create partnerships. So you have partners and suppliers that you rely on, and these will be also supporting your activities and resources. Then you have the cost structure, which is looking at where are you incurring costs in order to operate your business. So as you can see, this is a very systems view of the entire business. It's easy for you to visualize your entire business on one page and see the interconnections between them. Now, let's take an example to understand this better. And I'm going to start with this example of Ola Cabs. I guess all of you know what Ola Cabs is. It's a ride-share service where you can download an app and order a cab online saying, I need to get from point A to point B. Are there any cabs available? And Ola shows you a bunch of options and you can book a cab. Now, what business is Ola actually in? You could say that they are a taxi aggregator. Fair enough. You could say that they are a marketplace that connects taxis with customers. But I think you will agree that a very accurate way of describing Ola's business is that they are a technology company that uses technology to find the nearest taxi and give customers choices. Now, why this is important to understand the business that you are in, because then you will understand what you need to do as part of your business model and where is it that you can start refining, making tweaks, doing things better in order to serve your customers better and obviously in order to succeed better. So when you will just see now, I'm going to show you the business model canvas for Ola, and you'll see why this understanding which business Ola is in becomes very important. So this is the blank canvas that I start with before I start filling up. So the name of the business is Ola Cabs. The purpose of the business is providing customers with taxi on demand. So that's what I take as the purpose of the business. Now, starting with the first thing that you start with, of course, is the customer, because the customers are the lifeline of any business, right? You cannot have a business without a customer. And remember, this as customer segments. So you look at which are the segments of customers that you serve. So Ola serves two distinct segments. One is the passengers, of course, like you and me, who want to go from point A to point B and therefore start using their apps and pay them for getting a ride. The other are, of course, the drivers, because without these drivers, the Yola can provide a service as well, right? So the passengers and drivers are both customer segments for Ola. Now you will see that they are in different colors, and you will shortly also be able to see why they are in different colors. The value proposition. What is a value proposition? The value proposition is the benefit that Ola provides to each of these customer segments. So, what is a value proposition? What is a benefit that Ola is providing to passengers? The benefit is, of course, taxi on demand, easy to order, and a short wait time. These three are color coded to show that they are the benefits that Ola is giving to this specific customer segment of passengers. Of course, Ola also provides benefits to the drivers. What are those benefits? What are those advantages that it gives to the drivers? Passengers on demand. So, as a driver, I don't have to look for passengers, it just comes to me. And it's easy for me to make additional money as well. So, this is the benefit that Ola is providing to its customer segments. Look at channels. What is channels? Channels is the way in which Ola reaches its customers and delivers the value proposition to those customers. So in the case of Ola, remember they are a technology company, so they are leveraging technology in this case. So they use their mobile apps, social media, and PR in order to deliver their value to their customers. Now, in the case of brick and mortar companies, you will see that this could be a little different. They would have a supply chain, they would have trucks delivering goods to their customers, etc. So that is channels for you. Now, looking at customer relationships. Now, this customer relationships outlines how this company gets customers, grows customers, and keeps customers with them. In the case of Ola, it's a highly automated customer relationship. So Ola is not having an army of sales or marketing professionals coming to each of its customers and talking to them, etc. So it's a highly automated customer relationship scenario. Other companies may have a different scenario where they have, personally, they have an customer service representatives for each customer, or a groups of customers, like banks have relationship managers, etc., right? So that could be a different mode of managing customer relationships. Then you have revenue streams, which is how does Ola make money? Of course, a pay per ride is the model. Then they also have surge pricing, and they have premium brands like Ola Luxury, etc., that they use to make money. This part is the outward facing part for Ola, outside the company. Let's look at the left side of the canvas. Left side of the canvas, what are the key resources that Ola has? Remember, this is what Ola is unique to Ola as assets that they need to perform well. The Ola platform, of course, the app and the website, etc., that allows passengers to book cabs on demand, which means that it's crucial for Ola to deliver this value proposition to these customers. Also, the pricing and the routing algorithm, because without that, they won't be able to deliver this value proposition. Then the key activities is developing that platform or algorithm, the marketing, of course, and onboarding drivers, because without the onboarding drivers, they won't be able to do it. If you notice key activities, the key resources and customer relationships, I have not color coded them because they are not specific to a customer segment, they are for the entire company. The key partners, Ola cannot do everything itself. So therefore, who are the key partners for Ola? One is drivers who own cars. You can consider them as customer segments as well as partners in this case, because they use them, they treat them as such. Then, of course, payment processors. Ola is not going to keep on creating payment processing platforms. So they use existing payment processors, mapping data providers like Map My India, Google Maps, etc., and the local government and regulatory authorities, because Ola needs to make sure that they have a working relationship with them, because otherwise they will not be able to operate in those cities. So this is key partners for Ola. Then the cost structure. Based on all this, you see what are the costs that Ola will incur in order to run this business. So of course, platform development, you can see from here. You look at sales and marketing, salaries, of course, and payments to drivers. Now, payments to drivers becomes very specific to a specific partner that you see, which is why it's color coded. So, as you can see from this example, by looking at you, for example, cost structure, you can look at the other blocks and find out what are the costs that am incurring. You look at customer segments and value propositions and find out, okay, these are the revenue streams. So everything is related in this. This is not this is not that each of these blocks are in silos, which is why we map them out on a single piece of paper like this to be able to see the connections. And this is the business model canvas for you. Now, what we will urge you to do if you are looking to take your idea to market is to do the same exercise for yourself. So you will say what is the name of your business, what is the purpose of your business, and you will start filling up this canvas for your business. So under each of these blocks, you will ask yourself these questions. You will say, okay, when I look at customer segment, I know that customer segments is all the customers I serve, the organizations, the people that I serve. But who are our biggest customers? Who are our most important customers? What are we doing for them? Are we creating a gain? Are we reducing a pain? What are we solving? Are we solving a very important job? A job is an activity that a customer needs to do, and therefore they look for solutions to do that. So, therefore, are you solving an important, frequent, or bothersome job for them? What value are you creating for each customer segment? What is the benefit you're giving? And very importantly, who is going to pay us? Because many times new businesses think that they have come up with this great idea and everybody will want it. But very important to ask yourself, who is going to pay you for that solution. So you are saying that, let's say a manufacturing company will want your solution, but who in the manufacturing company is going to actually end up writing the check for you? And remember, they will write the check only if they can see a benefit. Therefore, that brings us you to the value proposition. You need to be able to give a benefit to each of your customer segments, because otherwise they will not be paying you. So you need to clearly understand what is the problem you're solving and what is the need that you're satisfying for each customer. Remember that when we spoke about the biomimicry spiral and the defined phase, we spoke about getting enough information about the stakeholders and the problem, etc. And that is useful because when you actually come to take your idea to market, you will be able to clearly understand why you are doing something like this. Instead of coming up with a solution and then figuring out who wants this solution. That is not the way to do it. The way to do it is figuring out who has a problem, why do they have a problem, what are they trying to do before designing a solution. And that's what this will help you do as well once you come to taking the idea to market. Then, of course, once you have this, you look at how do you reach your value proposition to your customer, which is the channels. Remember, you're looking at not just telling your customer that you have a product or service, you're also thinking about how will you deliver that value to them. Also, you need to think about what do the customers want. It may be cheaper for you to do online, but does your customer actually want it online? That is something you need to understand as well. Then the customer relationships, how will you get customers? How will you keep those customers and how will you grow the customers that you have? So this is something that you will have to think about as well. Find out whether you're going to have personalized relationships with customers. Are you going to make it more automated? What is it that you're going to do? What does the business require? That's what you have to think about. Then what are the customers willing to pay for your value proposition? Also try and understand what do they currently pay for the same thing, because that's very important, right? If they are paying a certain amount and they are paying for a certain solution, how are they going to switch to something that you are giving? You need to understand that to in order to come up with an answer to this revenue streams. Then, of course, your key activities and your key resources. This is some things that you need to do uniquely as a company. This is not something, this is not just a laundry list of all the assets that you have or all the activities that you do. These are the key things that you need to do to succeed as a company. And then, of course, you can't do everything yourself. So there will be partners and suppliers who will be doing some of your key activities and key resources. You need to list them down here, because then you will understand where the dependencies in your business model canvas lie. And looking at all of these, find out what are the important costs that you will end up incurring as part of this business. So this is the way to actually go about filling up the business model canvas. Another important point that I want to mention here is the way I have outlined this is a business model canvas for any company at all. Now we are talking specifically about a biomimicry business. That means a solution that has been born out of biomimicry. So how would you bring that into the business model canvas? There is information available on biomimicry.org for you to help you do that. But one thing you can think about here is in each of these, you can think about applying nature's unifying patterns, nature's design principles in order to align that to a biomimicry business. So for example, you're looking at value propositions. You look at, am I or are we as a company creating conditions conducive to life? Are we doing that? Are we following nature's design principles in the benefits that we are offering to our customers? Similarly, the key resources that we are using, are we using these resources efficiently? Are we doing something that is wasting energy? Are we doing something that are we building using abundant resources rather than rare resources? So this is something you can examine in key resources and key activities. Look at your cost structure. Are you optimized as a cost structure, or are you maximizing as a cost structure? Key partners, are you developing symbiotic relationships, or are you developing, competitive or parasitic kind of relationships? So you can bring in all your learning from biomimicry into this biomimicry canvas and the biomimicry business model canvas, sorry, and you can actually get a view of what your business can be in when you are trying to take your idea to market. So you have this blank sheet, blank canvas, and start filling it up. Also remember that the business model canvas is an evolving canvas. It's not static. So what you saw in Ola, this is Ola, which is today. The customer segments, the value propositions that you saw on that canvas are what is Ola today. When they started, the canvas would have looked very, very different. The same thing applies to your business as well. You will start filling up this canvas as of today, saying, this is my business, this is the purpose, these are the customer segments, these are the value propositions, etc., etc. But remember, whatever you put down here after you have come up with a solution, whatever you put down here are just going to be hypotheses. These are your hypotheses about who your customer is, who your value proposition is. And you cannot run a business based just on a hypothesis, right? Therefore, you will have to take this and validate it. So you will say, okay, I think my customers are X, Y, and Z. You will actually go and talk to these customers and find out, are these actually your customers? If not, then you will have to revise that. Ola would have done the same thing, right? They would have started with something and then revised it as well. Similarly, the benefits. You think you're giving these benefits because you think these are useful to your customers. But you may actually figure out that customers are looking for a different benefit. Can you offer that? Therefore, you validate this hypothesis of value propositions, and your business model will then get changed, refined. Likewise for all the building blocks as well. So the business model canvas is not a static drawing that you make once and for all and say, this is my business and that's it. When you start with, you have certain hypotheses about your idea, about your business, and then you start validating your hypotheses and finding out which is actually true in the market, which is not, and you change as you go along. So that is the business model canvas for you. I hope I've been able to give you a quick snapshot of how you can use this tool. I'll be very interested in hearing from you whether you used it, how did you use it, and what you found the end result of it was. So look forward to seeing what you do with this tool. So we are now at the end of this course. I think in the last 8 weeks, there has been a lot of material that we've covered. In week one, we mentioned that this course is about getting you started in your journey as a biomimic. And that's what this course is all about. So we, as part of this, we started with what is biomimicry. Biomimicry is a practice that learns from and imitates the designs and strategies of nature in order to solve human challenges. So, what you're doing is not learning about nature, you're not learning facts about nature. What you're doing is you're learning from nature. How does nature do something? And you're taking that and imitating that. So, that is biomimicry. Also, looked at what is not biomimicry. Now, there are several bio inspired technologies in this world. Each of them does different things. But you have biophilia, biomorphism, bioutilization. Biomimicry is different because it focuses on the function, about what something does, and that's what makes biomimicry different from other bio inspired methodologies. Also, why is biomimicry important? I don't think we need to talk about it at all. All of you are in this course because you think that biomimicry is important. It leads to more sustainable solutions. It gives you a way to design new products and services or redesign products and services. Also, it's high time, right? The state of the world right now, without biomimicry, we are going to really suffer. So, therefore, biomimicry is really important. What are we mimicking in biomimicry? Form, process, and system. Guess it will be easy for you if you just kind of embed those examples in your head. Imitating form is the kingfisher and the bullet train, which was making a lot of sound, and then they imitated the kingfisher's beak shape in order to make less sound. Then process is the termite mound, which was used as the inspiration for the Eastgate Center in Harare, Zimbabwe, to use less energy and less air conditioning in the building. And then imitating system is the Kalundborg industrial ecosystem in Kalundborg, Denmark, where the waste from one industry is actually the raw material for another industry. So that is what we are mimicking in biomimicry. Then there are two approaches to biomimicry: from nature to solution and from problem to solution. So in from nature to solution, you already have you observe nature and look at some strategy or design that nature does, and you then look at, okay, where could I use it to solve a problem. The example for this, of course, was whale power, where the scientist observed the whales and the tubercles on the whales and then said, okay, can I use this somewhere? And they came up with the idea of wind turbines enhanced due to tubercle like structures. Then you have the from problem to solution, where you start with the problem, you're looking at how do you solve the problem and say, okay, can nature help me solve this problem? And you start exploring nature to do that. And the classic example of this is, of course, the kingfisher and the bullet train, which you've already seen. So the problem of noise was there. The engineers were wondering how to solve it. They looked at nature. The kingfisher does not make a splash when it dives from one medium to another. Can this be used? And they were able to solve the problem. Then we looked at function, which is the most important concept in biomimicry because it underpins all the learning in biomimicry. Function, of course, is what something does, what of the outcome of something is, and in the context of nature, it is what an organism does to survive. And that's what we look at when we imitate in biomimicry. And function is what it does, strategy is how it does it. And strategy becomes important along with the context, because how it does it and where it does it, along with the other factors that influence how it does it, become important to understand what you can imitate and how you can imitate it. So, this function, strategy, and context are a key learning in order to be a biomimic. Of course, we looked at the biomimicry spiral. I guess this has been a large part of our learning. It's the process through which you can apply biomimicry to solve a problem. So you start with defining the problem. You look at, it's not just enough to say, hey, I have this problem and jump to a solution. You look at the problem, you try and understand it as much as you can. You find out what exactly you want to solve as part of the problem, and then you articulate a defined question or a design question, which is in the form of how might we do something. Then you have the biologize, where you convert that defined question to a biologized question. So the defined question is focused on the function that you want to accomplish in the human world. The biologized question is focused on the function that is translated to nature. So you, instead of saying how might we do something, you say how does nature do the same thing, but it is in a biological context. Once you biologize it, you look at the function in nature and say which are the organisms that perform the same function and how do they perform it. What is the biological strategy that they use in order to perform that function? So you discover a bunch of organisms. How do they do it? Where do they do it? Then you abstract those strategies from design strategies from the biological strategies of those organisms. Abstract is going from a specific strategy to a general way of accomplishing something. You abstract those design strategies, and then you come to the ideation part, which is the emulate part. So you take all your design strategies, consolidate them, find out how you can create ideas out of that in order to, of course, solve your define question, in order to the solve the problem that you started with. That is important, because many times in the creativity process we lose focus and start designing just because it looks cool or because we are more interested in it. So the emulate has to be connected to the define, saying, okay, this is what I set out to solve. Can I use the design strategies in order to solve using the principles of nature? And then you evaluate your solution. You evaluate what you have done and find out is the, how is what is the technological feasibility, what is the business feasibility, etc. of that. In the social context, in the environmental context, you start evaluating the solution. And remember, this is an iterative process. It's not as if you'll just go through it once and come up with a solution. You may have to go through it multiple times. You may have to go back and forth between steps. That is the biomimicry spiral. And as part of the biomimicry spiral, you also use nature's design principles or the unifying patterns. These are the important lessons you learn from nature as far as design is concerned. Like nature uses freely available energy, nature builds using only abundant resources, does not use rare resources or uses rare resources sparingly. Nature uses safe chemistry, which is conducive to life. Nature is locally attuned and responsive. Nature uses shape for function. All of these are design principles that you can incorporate in your solution. Again, this is not just in biomimicry. You can also bring these into your personal and professional life to see how you can imbibe the lessons from nature. Of course, in order to come up with a problem that you want to solve, if you don't have a ready-made problem, you can use the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. There are 17 goals very important to the world, and 17 goals tackle different aspects of human life. And you can look at these goals, you can look at the targets and indicators in these goals and find out which of these are important to you, which of these resonate with you, pick up that and actually go about solving it. The other critical learning for a biomimic is to understand that everything is connected, to understand the system's view of the world. Problems, solutions, cause, effect, design, uh, you know, all of these are actually connected to each other. We saw this, consequences. We saw the example of unintended consequences that happened because of the cats that were taken to Borneo. You saw that example. You saw the example of the big picture. You saw the example of interconnections of how wolves are influencing rivers. So understanding interconnections, understanding it in a systems view, is extremely important as a biomimic, because otherwise we'll just be repeating the mistakes that have already happened in the past, and our solutions will be not will none be none the better for it. So therefore, we have to look at nature's design principles and a systems view in order to design better, more sustainable solutions. We, of course, looked at aspects of creativity, because creativity is a vast topic. We didn't cover it fully, but aspects of creativity, we looked at intersections, uh, you know, curiosity, imagination, looked at aspects of creativity here, and we concluded with how do you take an idea, a biomimicry idea, to market? What is the ways in which you can actually take an idea to market? And the tool is the biomimicry business model canvas. So that's what we've covered so far in the 8 weeks. And remember, this is to get you started on your journey. Also, this is, this will not work if you don't practice it. This course is not about just watching all the videos and doing all the assignments and saying I am a biomimic, I have a certificate. It is about actually practicing what you have learned. It's about picking up a problem from the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, applying the biomimicry design spiral, finding out how you can use the design principles in order to create a solution, taking the systems view, using the concepts learned in this course, and actually coming up with a solution, and finding out if you can take that idea to market. So this is something we hope we are able to emphasize to you, that this is what the course is. It's about being a practitioner and not just about learning a whole bunch of theory. And we really hope you've had a good time learning in this course. You've had something that you have learned in order to change the way you're thinking about how to solve problems. We look forward to hearing from each of you how you have solved your problem, how you plan to take it to market, and we'll really look forward to seeing you in Biomimicry 2.0 as well. Thank you.